Hospital chaos as Yu Long collapses after devastating news. Tears, panic, and shattered silence filled the hospital halls just hours ago as actor Yu Long collapsed following news that left doctors speechless and fans around the world gasping for air. The building that had remained tightly guarded since Yang Mie was rushed in just days ago turned into a scene of heartbreak after medical staff delivered an update that would break even the strongest hearts. What began as a hopeful turn in Yang Mi's recovery took a terrifying turn, and for Yu Long, it was the moment everything he had been holding together crumbled at once. The moment everything changed. According to multiple insiders inside the hospital, doctors had gathered Yu Long for what was expected to be a routine progress briefing. Yang Mi had just regained consciousness hours earlier. She had squeezed his hand. She had looked into his eyes. And for a brief moment, it felt like the worst was over. But then came the words no father wants to hear. One of the twins, Baby Cloud as staff affectionately call him, had shown signs of oxygen loss overnight. While his heartbeat was still active, it had become increasingly irregular. Brain scans showed alarming patterns that left specialists concerned. The lead doctor had barely finished speaking when Yu Long reportedly stood up from his seat, froze in place, and dropped to his knees. He did not scream. He did not speak. He simply fell forward, face buried in his hands, as two nurses rushed toward him. One witness said, "He did not faint. He gave up. He dropped like someone whose entire world had just been stolen from him." Staff locked down floor after incident. Moments after Yu Long collapsed, hospital staff initiated a security lockdown of the maternity ICU floor. Guards were seen escorting media away from the building, while Yu Long's personal assistant was called in to manage press inquiries. Inside, chaos unfolded as emergency response staff checked his vitals. Though conscious, Yu Long reportedly refused to move or speak. He sat on the ground, rocking slowly, whispering the same words over and over again. "It's my fault. I should have stayed awake. I should have done more." Nurses say his emotional state became so fragile that he had to be sedated and monitored in a private lounge away from Yang Mi's room. The hospital has not confirmed the full nature of the devastating news, but what little has been leaked paints a horrifying picture. Yang Mie unaware of what's happened. As of this report, Yang Mi remains in a light sedation cycle to help her body recover from trauma. Doctors made the decision not to inform her of the twins' condition yet, fearing the emotional shock would destabilize her vitals once again. Yu Long had asked to be the one to tell her himself. But now, even he is no longer emotionally able to face that moment. Friends close to the couple have said that a family therapist and grief counselor have been requested on standby. Others say it is too soon to speak of loss. The situation remains critical, and nothing has been confirmed. But the tears, the collapse, and the isolation all point to something too heavy to bear alone. Fans react worldwide, prayers pour in. Across social media, fans have erupted with heartbreak and disbelief. The hashtag #PrayForYoungMI and the twins trended globally within an hour of the hospital incident. One fan wrote, "He carried her into the hospital to save her. And now he's the one who has to be saved." Another posted, "Yu Long collapsed from a pain no human should have to carry. My heart is with him. My soul is with their babies." Outside the hospital gates, small groups of fans have gathered in quiet vigils, holding candles, photos, and messages of support. Some cried silently. Others sat on the sidewalk, waiting for any sign of recovery. Inside, Yang Mi sleeps. Unaware. Unready. Still carrying the weight of two lives. Yu Long's team issues emotional statement. Late in the evening, Yu Long's management released a short, heartfelt message to the public. It read, "Today was a moment of unbearable emotion. Yu Long is currently being cared for and surrounded by love. We ask for privacy, compassion, and continued prayers for the entire family." His assistant later added off the record. "He's not thinking about movies. He's not thinking about headlines. All he wants is for the child to fight. And for Yang Mi to never feel this pain." Doctors reveal next steps. Hospital sources confirmed that doctors are doing everything in their power to stabilize Baby Cloud. Specialized equipment has been brought in. Oxygen levels are being monitored by the second. There is still a chance. But it will take time, care, and quiet strength from a mother who does not yet know the storm awaiting her. Young Emi's condition remains stable. Her vitals are improving. Her other twin, Baby Star, is showing normal patterns. But the situation with Baby Cloud is described as fragile. Every hour matters. As of now, no emergency delivery is scheduled. The focus is to preserve all 3 lives, protect their peace, and prepare for every possible outcome. The world holds its breath. The journey of Yu Long and young Mi has already touched millions. From controversy to reconciliation, from heartbreak to healing, from lovers to soon-to-be parents, their story has become one of the most followed and emotionally charged narratives in the entertainment world. But this chapter may be the most painful yet. Not every fairy tale skips the pain. Some must walk through fire before they ever see the sun again. And right now, Yu Long is in the fire. He loved her through scandal. He stayed when it hurt. He fought to protect her. And now, he is on the floor, hoping the universe will return what he is begging not to lose. Let the world stay quiet for a while. Let the cameras wait. Let the prayers be louder than the headlines. Because right now, somewhere in a silent hospital room, a father is holding on to hope with everything he has left. And he is not giving up. Not yet. Not ever. Young Mie demands the truth after overhearing whispers about her twins. Silence can be gentle, but sometimes silence screams. As the sun rose over the quiet hospital in the Scottish Highlands, a nurse stepped out of young Mie's private room, her hands trembling as she tried to keep her voice steady. What she did not know was that the woman everyone had been tiptoeing around had heard more than she should have. And she was done being protected. After 2 days of sedation, monitored breathing, and whispered reassurances, young Mi opened her eyes for the second time. But this time, she was not calm. She was alert. And she had questions. Why is everyone hiding from me? According to a source inside the hospital, young Mi's voice was barely audible at first. But her eyes were sharp, and her mind had caught on to something wrong. She had overheard the night nurse on a phone call. A few words. A quiet sob. And then the one sentence that made her world stop. They're trying everything. But the second twin's condition isn't improving. Young Mi didn't scream. She didn't cry. She simply stared at the ceiling, unmoving, as her breath became shallow and fast. When the nurse returned, young Mi asked the question no one was prepared to answer. What's wrong with my babies? The nurse froze. And that was all the confirmation young Mi needed. Yu Long returns to a woman who knows. Yu Long, still emotionally broken from the previous day's collapse, had been resting in a private lounge when he was told young Mi was awake and asking for him. He rushed into her room, expecting warmth. Instead, he was met with silence. She turned her head slowly, eyes locked on him, and asked, "Which one is dying?" Yu Long reportedly dropped the flowers he had brought in, falling to his knees beside her bed, tears immediately streaming down his face. "I didn't want you to know like this," he whispered. "Then why did I have to hear it from the hallway?" she asked, her voice shaking but firm. There were no answers, only pain. For the first time in their long journey together, Yu Long had no words that could shield her. She reached for his hand and said, "If one of them doesn't make it, I want them to know I fought for them." Young Mie refuses additional sedation. Doctors offered to sedate her again, worried that her emotional state might affect the twins. But young Mi refused. She sat up slowly, despite her weakness, and made it clear she would no longer be protected by silence. "I'm their mother," she said. "I deserve to know every heartbeat, every scan, every risk. If my son is fading, then I want to be the one who brings him back." That was the moment doctors realized young Mi was not just healing. She was preparing for war. A dangerous decision that stunned everyone. In a twist that shocked even hospital officials, young Mi has now requested to be moved from the ICU maternity suite to the neonatal recovery wing, where specialists work around the clock monitoring high-risk fetal cases. No celebrity has ever been moved under these circumstances. But she insisted. She wants to be closer to the machines. She wants to read the charts. She wants to speak to the head of fetal neurology herself. Yu Long initially opposed the move, worried the stress would harm her further. But Yang Mi looked him straight in the eyes and said, "You carried me in here. Now let me carry them." He agreed. And now, for the first time since her collapse, Yang Mi is fully awake, fully aware, and fully in charge. Public reaction: a warrior mother goes viral. The internet exploded again when news leaked that Yang Mi had confronted hospital staff about her twins' condition. Hashtags like #ProtectTheTwins, #YoungMI5IghtsBack, and #Mother of Steel began trending worldwide. Fans have turned her into a symbol of strength. One tweet read, "She went from being carried to standing for her babies. That's what mothers do." Another wrote, "She is not a victim. She is the storm." Even celebrities joined in. A fellow actress from China shared, "I have known Yang Mi for years. I've seen her fall and rise. But this is her rebirth. What happens next?" Doctors remain cautious but hopeful. Baby star continues to show signs of strength. Baby Cloud, though still fragile, has begun responding slightly to changes in sound and light. A small movement in the last scan made one nurse cry. She said, "I don't know if he's going to make it. But I know he hears his mother's voice. And he's holding on." Yang Mi now reads to them every morning. She hums to them every night. And she's writing a letter to each twin in case the worst happens. Yu Long sleeps beside her bed again. No longer shielding her. Now, standing with her. Together, they are facing the hardest chapter of their story. But this time, they are not afraid. Because love is not soft. Love is not easy. Love is fierce. And right now, it is roaring through the hallways of a hospital that has seen both collapse and courage in one breathtaking week.